Kneel and clean your mess.
You're misusing power.
Release that man, he's the judge!
In the bustling courthouse of Riverside, California, on a crisp autumn morning, Officer Mark Harlan strode through the marble halls with the confidence of a man who owned the place. 20 years on the force had honed his instincts, sharpened his edge, and built a reputation that preceded him like a shadow. But on this day, as sunlight filtered through the tall windows, casting long beams across the polished floors, Harlan was about to cross a line that would unravel not just his career, but expose the cracks in an entire system. It started innocently enough, or so it seemed. Harlan, badge gleaming under his crisp uniform, grabbed a coffee from the cart in the lobby without a second thought. He nodded to fellow officers, who returned the gesture with nods of their own. His arrest record was legendary, top in the precinct for 4 straight years. Today, he was set to testify in a routine drug possession case, one that should have been open and shut. District Attorney Emily Carter stood nearby, flipping through her notes. "Morning, Emily," Harlan called out. "Ready to put another one away?" Carter's smile was tight, professional. "It's possession, Mark, not intent to distribute. And Judge Robert Ellis is presiding. He's new here, transferred from the Western District. Word is he's tough on police testimony." Harlan sipped his coffee, unfazed. "As long as he knows the law, we'll be fine. My story's solid." Little did Harlan know, Judge Robert Ellis was already in the building, moving through the public entrance, as was his habit. At 55 years old, with neatly trimmed gray hair and a no-nonsense demeanor, Ellis had spent 2 decades as a prosecutor before ascending to the bench 6 years ago. His transfer to Riverside came amid whispers of uneven policing in the area, disparities that hit minority communities hardest. Ellis liked to observe the courthouse dynamics incognito, without his robes, to see how everyday folks were treated. Colleagues called it his plainclothes review. Today, he carried his briefcase to the defense table to organize his files, blending in seamlessly. Harlan spotted him from across the room, a black man in a tailored but understated suit, papers spread out. Something about the man's calm focus irked him. "Court starts soon," Harlan announced loudly, approaching the table. "This spot's for attorneys, not spectators." Ellis looked up briefly, his voice even. "I'm aware of the time, thank you." Harlan loomed closer, his shadow falling over the documents. "You heard me. Move to the gallery or show some ID." "I am where I need to be," Ellis replied, meeting Harlan's gaze steadily. Emily Carter hurried over, sensing trouble. "Mark, let's prep for testimony." Harlan waved her off. "1 minute. Just ensuring protocol." He turned back to Ellis. "Last chance, pal. Credentials or out." Ellis stood, matching Harlan's height. "Officer, I suggest you prepare your statement instead of policing seating." Harlan's hand twitched near his holster. "How do you know I'm an officer? Your attitude screams trouble." His voice dropped. "You got a problem with cops?" Ellis didn't flinch. "I have a problem with misused power." The tension thickened like storm clouds. Spectators trickled in, conversations halting as they sensed the standoff. The court clerk darted out, murmuring to the bailiff. Harlan, frustration boiling over, grabbed Ellis's briefcase and yanked it, sending papers flying, legal briefs, notes, a framed photo of Ellis's family skidding under a bench. "Pick that up," Harlan snarled. Ellis remained still. "You're tampering with court materials." Harlan kicked the photo farther. "And I'm the mayor. Kneel and clean your mess." Gasps rippled through the room. The bailiff hesitated. "Officer Harlan, maybe step back. This guy's disrespecting the court," Harlan shot back. He grabbed Ellis's shoulder, shoving down. "I said kneel." Ellis resisted, but Harlan's grip tightened, forcing him to one knee. Murmurs turned to shocked whispers. A woman in the gallery pulled out her phone, recording discreetly. "There," Harlan said smugly. "Now gather your junk and leave." As Ellis reached into his pocket slowly, Harlan twisted his arm. "Hands out. I'm getting my ID," Ellis said through gritted teeth, pain etching his face. "Sure you are." Harlan wrenched the arm behind Ellis's back. "Cuffs him, obstruction." The bailiff wavered. "I don't think," but before he could finish, a commanding voice boomed from the judicial door. "Release that man now, officer." All eyes turned to Chief Judge Margaret Hayes, her presence filling the room like a thunderclap. Silver-haired and robed, she exuded unyielding authority. Harlan released Ellis, stepping back. Your Honor, that individual is Judge Robert Ellis. Hayes cut in sharply. He's presiding today. Harlan's face paled. Ellis rose, adjusting his tie with quiet dignity, ignoring Harlan completely. Do you need a recess, Judge Ellis? Hayes asked. No, thank you, Chief Judge. Proceed as planned. Ellis nodded to the bailiff. 10-minute break. Officer Harlan, stay here. In his chambers, Ellis's hands shook slightly as adrenaline ebbed. He breathed deeply, then picked up his phone. Tom, it's Bob. Pull files on Officer Mark Harlan, everything from Riverside PD. Priority. The bailiff knocked. You okay, Your Honor? Should I call? I'm fine. But contact Internal Affairs. Get all of Harlan's arrest records from the last 5 years, focusing on cases with minority suspects. And preserve today's security footage, all of it. Alone, Ellis emailed the Judicial Oversight Board, noting a potential pattern without filing charges yet. He donned his robes, the fabric's weight grounding him. In the mirror, he saw the same face Harlan had dismissed, now framed by symbols of justice. This isn't personal, Bob, he murmured. It's for those without a voice. His phone buzzed, found prior complaints on Harlan. Multiple. Back in court, Ellis ascended the bench, the room shifting with his authority. Harlan stood rigidly by the prosecution table, Emily Carter whispering frantically. Court in session, Ellis announced. State of Riverside versus Tyrone Jenkins. Possession with intent. He handled preliminaries smoothly, then called Harlan to testify. Harlan described pulling over Jenkins for a faulty brake light, finding drugs. But under Ellis's gaze, his confidence cracked, answers clipped, evasive. Why the stop? Ellis probed. Brake light, Your Honor. Was your dash cam on? Malfunction that day. And body cam. Same issue. Ellis noted it. Both failed at once. It happens, Harlan said defensively. The defense attorney, sensing an opening, stood. Officer, how often do your arrests involve camera issues? Objection, Carter interjected. Relevance. Goes to credibility, the defense countered. Overruled, Ellis ruled. Answer. Harlan shifted. I don't track that. The attorney pressed. How many with minority suspects? Carter requested a sidebar. Your Honor, this implies bias without basis. I'm allowing questions on evidence reliability, Ellis said calmly. Harlan joined uninvited. This is turning a simple case into a sideshow. Approach when summoned, officer, Ellis warned. With respect, this feels like harassment. Ellis's jaw tightened. Step back or face contempt. Harlan held for a beat, then retreated, muttering. What was that? Ellis asked. Nothing. Speak up for the record. This seems personal, Harlan said boldly. Whispers erupted. Ellis leaned in. Justice is personal to all involved, but never prejudiced. He nodded to defense. Continue. The attorney presented stats. 75% of your drug arrests involve Black or Latino suspects, though they're only 20% of Riverside's population. Objection unauthenticated, Carter said. Allowed, Ellis ruled. I go where crime is, Harlan snapped. If some groups commit more. Murmurs swelled. Ellis banged his gavel. Order. Harlan clarified stiffly. I enforce equally. Then no issue with reviewing your patterns? Ellis said. Defense showed more. 80% of malfunctions in minority cases. Harlan stood. This is slander. Sit, Ellis ordered. You're twisting numbers. Final warning. Harlan sat, fuming. Then, a video from a nearby store camera. Harlan searching Jenkins's car before sighting the light. Objection not disclosed, Carter cried. We got it independently, defense said. Ellis reviewed. Officer, you swore the violation prompted the search. This contradicts. Context missing, Harlan protested, pointing. You've targeted me since I entered. Contempt, Ellis declared. You assumed based on appearance. Being Black. Ellis's composure slipped momentarily. Bailiff, remove him. Recess 15 minutes. Harlan, my chambers. In chambers, Harlan paced. You set this up. Ellis opened a file. Mark Harlan. 18 excessive force complaints, dismissed. 90% minority drug arrests. 40% procedural flaws. Where'd you get that? Weeks ago. I lead the Oversight Committee on Biased Policing. Your name's flagged. Harlan blanched. Witch hunt. Accountability. A knock. Bailiff with Chief Judge Hayes and Commissioner Laura Bennett. Judge Ellis, Hayes said. Bennett eyed Harlan sternly. Officer, suspended pending review. On what? Harlan demanded. Assault on a judge, false testimony, tampering, Bennett said. You can 20 years. Makes it worse, Bennett replied. We're reviewing all your cases. This is bigger than one man, Hayes added. Department-wide. Harlan sneered. Scapegoat for the system. No, Ellis said. Consequences for your actions. The system faces its own. I want charges filed, Ellis told Bennett. Assault, intimidation. Processing now, Harlan whispered as they left. You don't know who you're dealing with. News exploded. Footage leaked. Justice Neal trended. Cable news looped it. Police union met in crisis. We distance from Harlan, President Lawson argued. Videos damning. Abandoned members? Bad precedent, VP Ramirez countered. Slapping a judge? No excuse, Lawson said. Pivot to stress, but records will bury us. DA Carter's office flooded with motions. Hundreds tainted, her deputy warned. Prioritize inmates. Drop Jenkins charges, Carter ordered. Full review. Ellis met the Oversight Committee. Appalling, but leverage for change, Judge Patel said. I want systemic shifts, Ellis replied. Commissioner Bennett agreed to audits. City Council pushed body cams. At PD, Bennett addressed captains. Harlan didn't act alone. Supervisors ignored flags under review. One bad apple. Captain Ruiz asked. Patterns across precincts, Bennett said, showing graphs. Disproportionate force, searches. Harlan's home filled with sparse supporters. His ex-partner, Officer Diaz, visited. They're interviewing me about the Lopez case. By the book, Harlan said. We know better, Diaz replied. I've got family. Not going down. You're bailing? Others too. Next day, Ellis dismissed Jenkins's case. Tyrone, tears streaming, hugged his mother. Review all Harlan cases, Ellis ordered. Outside, reporters swarmed. Charges against Harlan? One asked. This is about equal justice, Ellis said. System failed, many we re-fixing it. Reforms rolled. New training, oversight boards, tamper-proof cams. Complaints dropped 40%. Communities met cautiously. A pastor stood. Promises before, but this feels real power tasted injustice. Federal judges called for nationwide committees. Harlan's hearing. Stats showed bias 4.5 times force on minorities. Guilty, Bennett ruled. Terminated, no pension, charges proceed. Harlan left amid flashes. A exonerated man touched his shoulder. Justice now. At a national conference, Ellis spoke. Reeves exposed faults. Reforms, cams, analysis, training. Complaints down, trust up. PD oath revised for equality. Training included ex-Saneri stories. Case reviews overturned 80 convictions. Fund compensated victims. Veterans resisted. Some quit. Public backed change. In a black neighborhood town hall, dialogue built bridges. Governor pushed statewide. A year later, Ellis reviewed files when Tyrone entered, law book in hand. Studies going well? Challenging, but I'm in, Tyrone said. Paper on reform, your view? Culture shifting, awareness, questioning bias. How'd you stay calm? Lifetime of it. Anger gives them power, focus on change. Tyrone left inspired. Ellis passed Carter and Hall. Big case. Routine, but every matters. In court, he saw a rookie testify fairly, came on. At a reform panel, Ellis answered, change needs all levels. Data shows ethical policing works. Meeting judges, acknowledge issues, progress follows. A young black officer thanked him. Reforms let me serve right. To a journalist, witness injustice? Document, speak, connect. Systems changed by people. The Riverside incident didn't just end a career, it sparked a movement. Reforms spread, ensuring accountability became the norm. Judge Ellis continued his work, knowing vigilance was key, but satisfied that one confrontation had ignited lasting justice. What do you think about the themes of violence and injustice in this story? Share your opinions in the comments below. Do you believe systemic change is possible, or are these issues too ingrained? Take a stand and express your views. I'd love to hear from you.